If you have an e-commerce store, it's important to really think about social media in terms of generating revenue, but in a consistent manner, not just a one-time sales, but actually scalable sales. Okay. So into this conversation, I want to share with you some hacks that I have actually gathered from surveys of seven-digit e-commerce store owners. So here are the top hacks I want you to really first, I want you to pay attention to. First thing first, you want to set up social e-commerce channels. What I mean by that is if you are trying to generate revenue through Facebook or Instagram or let's say Pinterest, you've got to be on those platforms. You can't be like, let's say, you got to have a proper account on each of those platforms. Be native to those platforms. In other words, you can't be an individual user, for instance, on Facebook, and trying to generate revenue from Facebook. No, you got to have a proper business profile and then actually generate sales from that business page. Okay, so set up social e-commerce channels. The thing is that every of those platforms is trying to really retain their audience, right? So don't try to really redirect them to another website unless you have the need to do so. Actually, nowadays you have with the emergence of shoppable videos, for instance, or shoppable links, you have the ability to actually make the sale happen within the platform. So if you are on Facebook or you are on Instagram, Instagram, for instance, has shoppable videos. Same thing for TikTok. So you have the ability to actually make the sales happen right then and there. Okay. Next, you want to find your authentic voice and be unique. If you really want to dominate social media this year, you got to be unique. Why? Because this is a very crowded economy. I don't care what kind of niche you're in. Chances are you have competition in your niche. And if you don't differentiate yourself in any way, shape, or form, you're not going to perform. Okay. So basically, you want to find your authentic voice and be unique. And it's one of those things where you want to really think about branding, for instance. You want to think about let's say, visuals. Okay. Identify what makes you unique and different from others in your field. This could be your company's story, a specialization, or even your customer service. You have to really put that forward in your storytelling. Let people know why you are different. If you want to actually dominate social media and really generate more e-commerce sales, you need to use organic and paid strategies. So you've got to have a hybrid strategy, a hybrid approach. Okay, so organic, but also pair that with paid strategies. On social media, the thing is that a combination of organic and paid strategies is usually the preferred way to go. Why? Because you got to mix and match things and see what works or what doesn't work. Okay, so and also because organic social media has a different algorithm than paid social media. So paid social media, for instance, can help you reach an even wider audience, but your organic content is what's going to keep them actually what's going to keep them coming back, right? So what you have to understand is that those social media platforms, they were built in the first place as advertising machines, right? So they are, if you start with paid social media, you are going to reach a larger audience because the algorithm is going to really spread your words to the larger population. Now, that population will come, right? They'll take a look at your content, but if your content is not good quality, if it's substandard, they're not going to stick around, and you want them to stick around. So that's why actually organic strategy is going to take over from there. Okay, so you start always with paid strategy, and then you actually complement it with organic strategy. So organic. So when I speak about paid social media strategies, you have paid advertisements and post boosts using lookalike audiences and website visitors to supplement your advertising. Running actually influencer marketing campaigns, that's also really good. I mean, you got to have the budget for this, though. I mean, this is not something you can just do and not have the cash for it. You got to have the budget for it. Creating a brand ambassador program, forming brand partnerships, creating a referral or affiliate program, or running advertisements and boosts of any of the organic strategies that I'll be mentioning now. So this is for paid. Now let's talk about organic social media strategies. You want to have a presence of and use of product reviews on your social media accounts. Okay, so the presence of product reviews has to be there. Adding relevant hashtag to increase the discoverability of your brand. You want your brand to be discovered. Personalized interaction with customers on your accounts and theirs. Providing excellent social customer care. Using UGC, so user generated content, to further your social proof, and using social listening to improve your product and discover new customers. So let me talk about using social proof. This is important. If you want to dominate social media as an e-commerce store owner, social proof is going to help you big time, especially when it comes to scaling your revenue. Okay. And when I speak about social proof, I'm speaking about reviews. I'm speaking about word of mouth. I'm speaking about testimonials. Anything that proves that your product is good or your product has the potential to be good, it's actually considered social proof. So word of mouth and reviews, for instance, are still tried and true tactics for encouraging purchases and are great examples of social proof across multiple geographies. Okay, so social proof remains a concept in psychology that declares consumers are more likely to buy from companies they see other happy consumers using. Okay, so think about that. So things like UGC, user generated content, and influencer marketing helps those things help in gathering social proof to share with your audience. And that's what you want. You want to share that with your audience. So for networks like Facebook that allow reviews as a feature, this makes business sense to allow your customers to leave reviews. So you want to always ask for more reviews from your customers on a continuing basis, and you'll be supplemented with social proof. Okay, reviews are even better when they are managed and responded to from the brand. Okay, another way of boosting your social proof is to use an influencer marketing strategy. This is kind of important, and also use social listening. So, social listening can benefit all departments of your company, but for sales specifically, you can use social listening to do a lot of things. For instance, you can identify gaps in your competitors' strategy and see what your industry's customers are talking about. And these discussions can lead to new products, strategies, and better customer service. Okay, so this is really good from a again from an adaptability point of view. So, for an online only company, social listening is imperative because you rely more on interactions and online activity to gauge your strategy, okay, but also to guide it. So, this is important. If you want to dominate social media and really boost your e-commerce store sales, you want to use analytics to guide your e-commerce sales. In other words, anything you do, you have to base it on data. Always use data. Data first, data last. Okay. Analytics are going to be your friend. They're going to be your best friend all the time. So when you think about social listening, this is kind of cool. But analytics is way more. Why? Because analytics is based on data, hardcore data. You can take advantage of that data when approaching social selling. So using social media data to inform, let's say, your sales plans on an ongoing basis will only help your ROI, your return on investment, especially if you are selling in a very competitive economy, in a very competitive geography. Okay, and you're selling multiple products. Okay, now from social media analytics, you can find a multitude of e-commerce related data. That's why I was just telling you, by the way, before I talk about the analytics, I was telling you a little earlier that you want to have a proper presence on those platforms, right? This is why when you open a business page on Pinterest or Facebook, for instance, or even on TikTok, you have access to analytics, and those analytics will be very quintessential for you in helping you understand what's working, what's not working with your products or services. So, from social media analytics, you can find a multitude of e commerce related data. For instance, you can have website clicks, profile visits, social shares from your website, mentions from customers. This is kind of cool. You also have ad offers and click-throughs, and mentions of new products or campaigns. So some analytics like Instagram impressions from the Explorer page are part of an organic e-commerce social strategy. Others like website clicks or social only offers are more specific analytics that can help define your social ROI. Let me talk to you about the benefits here. If you want to dominate social media and really boost your e-commerce store revenue, you want to really pay attention to the benefits of social commerce. Okay, social e-commerce. The thing is that if you have a DTC brand, let's say you have a direct-to-consumer brand that exists solely online, and you want to really boost your revenue this year, you really have you are right to do so. Why? Because you can expand your reach and generate brand awareness. You can engage your target audience, and you can also drive additional traffic and revenue to your business over time. So when I speak about expanding your reach and generating brand awareness, it's all about you understanding that when it comes to the audience on social media, you're talking about 5 to 7 billion of people, give or take, and you are speaking about 5 to 7 billion users every single month. Okay, from Facebook you have about 3 billion. YouTube you have 2 billion. Instagram you have 1.5 billion. That's a lot. That's a lot of folks already. Okay, now while not every single one of those 5 to 8 billion will be your target customer, social media gives a massive opportunity if you are able to put the right storytelling forward. Okay, so when you post, for instance, when you post on your social profiles, you are giving users a chance to find your brand, follow your accounts, and potentially share your products with others that they know. And that's what you want. You want to have this sort of let's say sharing. You want to have social sharing. Okay, you want to engage your target audience. So through both organic and paid social means, you can create content directly for your target audience to reach and engage those most interested in what you're selling. Create social media posts that elicit some kind of response from your audience, such as a comment, message, like, or share. Always interact with comments in order to facilitate conversations amongst your target customers. And finally, you want to drive traffic to your website, and even better, drive sales, right? You want to promote your products, showcase how they can be used and what pain points they actually solve. Make your audience want to purchase your product, then make it easy for them to do so. So what are the extras here? If you think about dominating social media this year, you have to understand that social selling is really increasing in popularity all the time. But so is let's say the realm of e-commerce stores. Can you imagine? You have about 20 to 25 million e-commerce websites. That's really a lot of websites. How are you going to differentiate yourself? Well, one way to do so is to actually focus on social selling only. Okay, so social selling, simply put, is actually selling products and/or services on social media. Now you can monitor social sites to look for opportunities to promote your products to an individual or a network. So this is called social listening, and it amounts to a form of virtual cold calling. Or you can simply upload and sell your products on a social platform. Okay, this is really the easiest part. You can say, you know what, I just want to upload my product and sell on Instagram, or sell on Facebook, or sell on TikTok. Okay, now why should you use social selling? Well, the thing is that you may already be selling online through Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, and the like. Magento, by the way, that's the Adobe Commerce. So while that may be enough for you right now, when you decide you want to branch out and grow your business, you want to sell products on social media. Again, because of the 5 to 8 billion people, I mean, active users on those platforms. Okay, you can't replace them really, if you think about it. So social media e-commerce makes it easier than ever before for consumers to find and purchase your products. Okay, so this is important. If you think about it, the average user spends about 1 to 2 hours, okay, on social media every day. So imagine how much more attention your products could get if they could browse through them right on their favorite social platform. Okay, especially when it comes to generating that sale. You want to increase the average order value. Social selling could be a great opportunity to do so. So, how do you sell on social media, or how do you actually make sure you can really sell on social media? Well, I want to first talk about a few of those social media and really explain to you for each of them how you can sell properly. What about selling on Facebook and Instagram? So, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, Meta. Okay, so basically, with the product catalog, you can link your e-commerce inventory to your Facebook or Instagram business profile and begin selling those same products directly on either social media platform. So because your online store and the platform are integrated, they can talk, okay, quote unquote talk to each other as purchases are made, keeping your inventory current and the revenue rolling in. So if you are using Facebook ads, you can also link the items in your product catalog directly to them to reach your audience in a highly targeted manner. What about selling on Twitter, now called X? Well, Twitter, not called X, doesn't have its own marketplace. So the best way to sell on Twitter, not called X, is to post about your products. You'll need to include the link to the product in your tweets. A link to your store in your bio is always a good idea. So because tweets are limited to 280 characters, one way to get attention is to use sales and discounts. So promoting a coupon code can significantly increase the amount of traffic and sales your product gets, okay? What about selling on LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn is unique because fo- it really focuses on B2B and B2C professionals. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So you won't really find ads for a new pair of shoes there. However, the social network does offer a service called Sales Navigator that helps e-commerce businesses and other companies build leads and their own sales pipeline. So this is kind of cool. What about selling on Pinterest? Well, Pinterest users called pinners used to have to go on a wild goose chase to find a pinned item they like. Thankfully, all that has changed with product pins, which allow pinners to purchase an item through your website simply by clicking a buyable item. And to get in on the action, all you need is to connect your e-commerce platform or store to Pinterest. You also have Snapchat. So Snapchat is not geared towards sales unless you purchase Snapchat ads, but that doesn't mean you should count it out. So to get customers through Snapchat, you just have to make an engaging video and then link it to your site where users can make a purchase. Video ideas that might lead to a purchase could include a behind the scenes look into how a product is made, ways to use a product, or the like. What about selling on YouTube? Well, YouTube is the most visited site in the world, so it's a great place to sell, right? Well, it can be if you can cut through all the clutter. One of the best ways to sell, of course, is to show it. And YouTube is all about showing via video, right? So, what I want to say here is that selling on YouTube is a lot different from other social sites and isn't as simple as listing an item for sale. So, if you have the ability to create videos and the patience to grow a following, then you can really think about the YouTube selling in a structured manner. In conclusion to this conversation, I just explained to you how to dominate social media. Okay, if you are an e-commerce store owner, I gave you the top hacks. I spoke about the benefits, the extras, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.